Um, so I've been musing quite a lot recently on meditation and what it really, really means. And then I was making myself some granola to go on top of my yogurt and fruit in the morning. And I was thinking about how, like, okay, meditation essentially is kind of learning to notice what your thoughts are doing and if need be, bring yourself to something a bit more neutral. The breath is the kind of really common thing because that's something we all have in common. And it's something that's really quite, it's always there. Your breath's always there. And so learning to sit and notice when you're distracted from focusing on your breathing and bringing your attention back to that is a really kind of classic form of meditation. And it's really useful and lots of people find it very beneficial. I myself, I try to meditate as often as I can. Um, it can be really helpful for a lot of people, especially when your brain tends to, buzz away and wah. Um, but it doesn't work for everyone. A lot of people find it very frustrating or distressing or, just doesn't work for them for whatever reason. And so I think it's really important to try and expand the idea of what meditation can be. Like, there was a girl I was at college with last year who talked about how for her running is meditation, especially when she's out and about running in the city. Um, because you kind of have to be paying some attention to the moment, to what's going on right here and now. You need to be paying attention to other, users of the pavement. You need to be paying attention to traffic, to what's on the ground in front of you in case you trip. And yeah, to some extent, paying attention to your breathing. So, it's one of those things that when she notices her mind's drifting when she's running, she brings it back to what she's doing. And that, for her, is a really beneficial form of meditation. Um, and I think it's really important, to try and talk about the different ways people can do that. Like, so the reason I brought it up with regard to my granola, yum yum yum, is when I was stirring it up and I was trying to mix it through really thoroughly and but without spilling it out the bowl and without covering every surface I own in oats, which, kind of ended up doing a little bit anyway. Um, but that in itself, that's quite meditative, and presumably there are a lot of people who find cooking and preparing food and stuff really meditative, and maybe that's a really good way to think about it. That you've got a task and often got it's got a beginning and an end. When you're done, and it's quite a useful job in that kind of way. And you do kind of have to pay attention, but it doesn't occupy your whole mind, especially if you're quite used to chopping and or stirring or whatever. But yeah, you notice your thoughts are drifting, so you bring yourself back to what you're doing, so you're not creating a mess, or so that you're doing, especially something like, folding in flour or something. You really do need to be paying some attention to that. Um, and what was the other thing I thought of that was quite similar? There was, knitting. That's another one that I do. I knit. And something like knitting or crochet or any of those kind of tasks where, a lot of the time you can be kind of not paying that much attention, especially once you're into the kind of flow of what you're doing. But you still need to come back to it. You still need to make sure you're not making mistakes. You still need to make sure you're, following your pattern if you're using one and so on. And presumably there are lots of other crafts like that as well, or lots of other activities, swimming or I don't know, whatever. There must be loads of options, different ways, and to think about it in that sense that you're not just doing something you enjoy, but you're doing something that's actually, really good for you and really positive for your mental well-being, and learning to notice thoughts and not judge them. That's a huge part of meditating. And so it's yeah, if you've got a wee job to do, you find yourself getting distracted, you just come back to doing that job without kind of, oh, where's my brain gone? What was I thinking? Why was I thinking that? Why was I feeling that? It's oh, actually, just, I have to keep stirring this bowl, otherwise all this stuff is going to clump together. Um, so yeah, I don't know. Anyway, just kind of rambling thoughts that I was having on meditating, and I hope that there might be someone that sees this and realizes that they don't have to just sit in awkward, uncomfortable silence focusing on their breath if that doesn't work for them, if that's uncomfortable for you. Or, some people find it really just brings up too much emotion and it's too hard to deal with. And so, yeah, instead of sitting and breathing, maybe try something that works for you that can be thought of as meditative. Expand your idea of what meditation can mean. I hope that helps anyway. Mwah. Live long and prosper.